Emma uses the same password for her bank and her email accounts. One of her passwords was recently breached, and this allowed access for the hackers to both accounts. This then could lead to a fraudulent transfer request that can be made to the bank and then accepted on the other end. And it takes much longer to remedy the situation if there is an issue. It's not as simple as just changing the password to one account. Let me give you some best practices related to passwords. Use a password manager. This tool will generate, store, and in some cases, fill your password for you. And you only need to remember one strong password, and often there's an additional layer of two-factor authentication for logging in to your password manager. So the access to your password manager needs to be authenticated through maybe a text message or a phone call or another level of access. And the password manager makes much more complex passwords. Create long random passwords. Aim for at least 16 characters, mixing upper and lowercase letters, symbols, and numbers when possible. Use passphrases. These are memorable phrases of 4 to 7 unrelated words. These offer much more strength than regular passwords. For example, legal, tiny, facility, freehand, probable, camel. No one is ever going to put those words into that sequence or order like you would for a password. Enable multi-factor authorization, MFA, two-factor authorization. This is an added layer of security by requiring more than one password or way of authentication for your accounts. This can be a text code or even a fingerprint. Let's talk a little bit about how to choose a password manager. Let's talk a little bit about how to use a password manager. Choose a reputable password manager. Consider free and paid options and look at their features. Generate strong and unique passwords. The password manager will help store these for you. Remember the master password. This is the only password you will need to memorize for this purpose. Utilize resources like consumer reports or reputable online blogs and other websites to help evaluate the different features of these password managers and make the right decision for you and how you anticipate using the password manager. It could be browser-based, it could be single, it could be just on an app or a website. There are a lot of available options out there at different price points and level of security. Let's go over some of the common mistakes to avoid. Reusing passwords is the biggest one. Reusing the same password for multiple accounts leaves you vulnerable. If one of those accounts is accessed, they're going to get access to that account and then find other accounts that you may be using. And also, if you use the same password, it's going to leave you vulnerable there as well. Don't write down all your passwords in one place or in a notebook. This can make you extremely vulnerable. And of course, don't use weak passwords. Try to make them as strong as possible. Don't make them easy to guess. Doing this will significantly help you reduce the chance that your accounts are compromised. So as we go into this, let's talk a little bit more about phishing.